Manchester United want €100 million star to replace Casemiro. Everything you need to know. Welcome back to United Daily Updates, your #1 trusted source for all things Manchester United. If you are not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, now is the perfect time to hit that subscribe button. We bring you daily news, transfer updates, match analysis, and exclusive insights that you will not find anywhere else. Join thousands of Red Devils fans who trust us to keep them informed every single day. Introduction. A midfield revolution at Old Trafford. Picture this scene. Old Trafford, a packed stadium, the crowd roaring. A young French midfielder wearing the number 6 shirt intercepts the ball in his own half. He drives forward with power and purpose. He picks out a perfect pass that splits the opposition defense. The crowd erupts. This is not a dream. This could be our reality if Manchester United get their way. That midfielder is Tchouameni. He is 25 years old. He plays for Real Madrid. He is one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. And right now, Manchester United want to bring him to the theatre of dreams. This is not just another random transfer rumour that will disappear tomorrow. This is a serious plan from Manchester United to solve one of our biggest problems. The Casemiro situation. The future of our midfield. The foundation that every great team needs. But can we actually pull this off? Will Real Madrid let him go? Can we afford the massive price tag? And most importantly, is he the right player to take us back to the top? In this complete guide, we are going to break down everything about this potential transfer. We will look at who Tchouameni is and what makes him special. We will examine why Manchester United need him so badly. We will explore the Casemiro situation that has created this need. We will discuss the challenges and the competition from other clubs. And we will figure out if this deal makes sense for everyone involved. So get comfortable, grab a drink, and let us dive deep into one of the most important transfer stories of the season. Who is Tchouameni? Before we talk about why Manchester United want him, let us understand who Tchouameni actually is. Because if you are going to get excited about a player potentially joining United, you need to know exactly what he brings to the table. Tchouameni was born on January 27, 2000, in Rouen, France. He is currently 25 years old. This is important because 25 is often considered the perfect age for a midfielder. You have gained plenty of experience, but you still have your best years ahead of you. You are physically at your peak. You understand the game. But you can still improve and develop further. Tchouameni started his professional career at Bordeaux in France. He did not stay there long. His talent was obvious very early. AS Monaco came calling in 2020 and signed him for about €18 million. At Monaco, Tchouameni really announced himself to the football world. He spent 2 seasons at Monaco and was absolutely brilliant. He dominated midfields in League One. He showed maturity beyond his years. He displayed the kind of qualities that make scouts from big clubs take notice. Strong in the tackle. Excellent positioning. Good on the ball. Smart with his passes. Physical but also technical. Real Madrid were watching. And when Real Madrid are watching you seriously, you know you are doing something right. In 2022, they made their move. They paid Monaco around €80 million to bring Tchouameni to the Bernabeu. That is serious money. Real Madrid do not spend that kind of money unless they believe you are going to be a star. Since joining Real Madrid in 2022, Tchouameni has been part of an incredibly successful team. He has won La Liga. He has won the Copa del Rey. He has won the Champions League. Think about that for a second. At just 25 years old, he has already won the biggest trophy in club football. He has already proven himself at the very highest level. In total, Tchouameni has made 161 appearances for Real Madrid. He has scored 5 goals and provided 6 assists. Now, you might look at those numbers and think they are not that impressive. But here is the thing about defensive midfielders. Goals and assists are not their main job. Their job is to protect the defense, win the ball back, control the tempo, and start attacks from deep positions. And in those areas, Tchouameni excels. He is one of the best in the world at what he does. What kind of player is Tchouameni? Let us get into the details of what Tchouameni actually does on the pitch. What are his strengths? What makes him one of the most sought-after midfielders in world football? First and foremost, Tchouameni is a defensive midfielder. His primary role is to sit in front of the back line and protect the defense. He is the shield. The first line of defense when the opposition has the ball. And he is excellent at this job. His defensive work is top class. He reads the game brilliantly. He can see danger developing before it actually happens. He positions himself in the right places to cut out passes and intercept the ball. When he needs to tackle, He tackles hard and usually wins the ball cleanly. He is not the type of player who fouls constantly or picks up silly yellow cards. He is smart and disciplined. Physically, Tchouameni is a beast. He stands at 6 feet 1 inch tall. He is strong and powerful. He can match up against the biggest and strongest opponents. In the Premier League, where physicality is so important, this is a huge advantage. He will not get pushed around. He will not get bullied. He can handle the rough and tumble of English football. But here is what separates Tchouameni from many other defensive midfielders. He is not just a destroyer. He is not just someone who wins the ball and gives it to more creative players. He is genuinely good on the ball himself. His passing is excellent. He can play simple passes to keep possession ticking over. But he can also play more ambitious passes to start attacks. He can break lines with his passing. He can switch the play from one side of the pitch to the other. He has that range of passing that top teams need from their deep-lying midfielders. He is also comfortable carrying the ball forward. If there is space in front of him, he can drive into it. He is not slow. He covers ground well. He can progress the ball up the pitch through his dribbling as well as his passing. This ability to move the ball forward in different ways is very valuable in modern football. One often overlooked quality is his versatility. Tchouameni has played as a centre-back for Real Madrid when they have needed him to. This shows his defensive understanding and his ability to read the game. It also gives managers tactical flexibility. If you need to change formation during a game, having a player who can slot into different positions is incredibly useful. His mentality is also worth mentioning. Playing for Real Madrid means dealing with enormous pressure. Every game matters. Every mistake is analyzed. The fans and media expect perfection. Tchouameni has handled this pressure brilliantly. He does not hide in big games. He steps up. He has played in Champions League finals and performed well. This mental strength is something Manchester United desperately need. What about weaknesses? Every player has them. Tchouameni is not the most creative player. If you need someone to create lots of chances or score lots of goals, he is not your man. But that is not what a defensive midfielder is supposed to do. You need other players for that. What you need from your defensive midfielder is what Tchouameni provides. Stability, protection, control, and the ability to link defense to attack. The Casemiro situation. Why United need a replacement. To understand why Manchester United are so interested in Tchouameni, we need to talk about Casemiro. Because the Tchouameni interest is directly related to the Casemiro situation. And that situation is complicated. Casemiro joined Manchester United from Real Madrid in the summer of 2022. It was an exciting signing. Here was a player who had won everything at Real Madrid. 5 Champions League titles. Multiple league titles. A true winner. A player who knew exactly what it took to succeed at the highest level. His first season at United was really good. He was probably our best player that year. He brought experience and quality to our midfield. He protected our defense. He scored some important goals. He showed leadership. It felt like a brilliant signing. We had finally found the defensive midfielder we had been missing for years. But football can be cruel. The second season has not gone as well. Casemiro is now 33 years old. That is old for a midfielder, especially for a defensive midfielder who relies partly on his physical attributes. The legs are not as quick as they used to be. The recovery runs are harder. The week-to-week consistency becomes more difficult. His performances have dropped from that excellent first season. He has made mistakes. He has looked slower. He has been caught out of position more often. This is not to say he has been terrible, but he has not been at the level we need from such an important position. Now here is where things get really complicated. Casemiro is currently the highest earner at Manchester United. According to reports, his contract expires at the end of this season. However, there is an option for the club to extend it by another year. But Manchester United do not want to trigger that option at his current salary. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the club's co-owner, has made it clear that he wants to control wages and spending. Paying someone who will be 34 years old a huge salary when their performances are declining does not make business sense. According to reliable journalist Fabrizio Romano and other sources, Manchester United want Casemiro to take a pay cut if he is going to stay. Manager Ruben Amorim would apparently love to keep Casemiro. But the financial reality is getting in the way. Put yourself in Casemiro's shoes for a moment. You are 33 years old. You have earned the right to big wages through your incredible career. You have won everything in football. Now your club is asking you to take a pay cut. That is a difficult thing to accept, even if you love the club. At the same time, look at it from Manchester United's perspective. We cannot keep paying enormous wages to players whose performances are declining. That is how clubs get into financial trouble. That is how you end up with an unbalanced squad where you cannot afford to sign new players because too much money is tied up in aging stars. So we have a situation where Casemiro might leave, either at the end of this season or at the end of next season when his extended contract would expire. Either way, Manchester United need to plan for life after Casemiro. We need to find his replacement. And that is where Tchouameni comes in. Think about what Tchouameni offers compared to the current situation. He is 25 years old compared to 33. He is at the start of his prime years, not the end. He is fast and mobile. He can play twice a week for the entire season without his body breaking down. He has his best years ahead of him rather than behind him. If United sign Tchouameni, they solve the defensive midfield position for potentially the next 6 or 7 years. That is smart planning. That is the kind of decision that sets clubs up for long-term success. Why Manchester United want Tchouameni? Beyond just replacing Casemiro, why specifically do Manchester United want Tchouameni? Why not look at other defensive midfielders? Why focus on this particular player? The answer comes down to several factors: quality, age, experience, and fit. First, the quality is obvious. Tchouameni is genuinely one of the best defensive midfielders in world football right now. There are not many players at his level in that position. If you want to compete with Manchester City, with Arsenal, with Liverpool, you need top quality in every position. Tchouameni gives you that quality. Second, his age profile is perfect. At 25, he is young enough that you get many years out of him. But he is old enough that he has plenty of experience and does not need years to develop. He can come in and make an immediate impact while also being part of your long-term plans. That balance is rare and valuable. Third, his experience is exactly what Manchester United need. He has won major trophies. He has played in massive games. He has succeeded at one of the biggest clubs in the world. He knows what it takes to win. He knows the standards required. This experience would be invaluable in a Manchester United dressing room that has not won enough in recent years. Fourth, he fits what Ruben Amorim wants to do tactically. Amorim typically uses a system with 3 centre-backs and needs a defensive midfielder who can protect them and cover when the wing-backs push forward. Tchouameni is perfect for this role. He has the defensive awareness and the physical attributes to do this job brilliantly. Fifth, he fits the profile of player Manchester United should be targeting. We need to stop signing players who are past their peak or who have question marks over them. We need to sign players who are proven but still improving. Players who can be here for many years. Players who raise the level of everyone around them. Tchouameni ticks all these boxes. There is also an element of ambition here. Signing a player like Tchouameni from Real Madrid sends a message. It says Manchester United are serious about getting back to the top. It says we can still attract the best young talents in world football. It says we are thinking big rather than settling for second-tier options. Manchester United have been criticized in recent years for lacking a clear transfer strategy. We have signed players who do not fit together. We have overpaid for players who do not work out. We have lacked coherent planning. But targeting someone like Tchouameni suggests we are learning from past mistakes. This is exactly the type of signing a well-run club makes. From a marketing and commercial perspective, signing Tchouameni would also be positive. He is a young star who would excite fans. He would generate shirt sales and social media engagement. He would raise the profile of the club. These things matter in modern football where commercial revenue is so important. But let us be clear. The main reason to sign Tchouameni is football. We need what he offers on the pitch. We need his quality, his age, his attributes, and his winning mentality. Everything else is secondary to that. The price tag, €100 million. Now let us talk about the elephant in the room. The price. According to reports, Real Madrid would want around €100 million for Tchouameni. That is roughly £85 million at current exchange rates. That is an enormous amount of money by any measure. It would make Tchouameni one of the most expensive signings in Manchester United's history. So the big question is he worth it? To answer that, we need to look at the current transfer market. What do top players cost these days? What have other clubs paid for similar players? Chelsea paid around €115 million for Moises Caicedo from Brighton last year. He is a defensive midfielder similar to Tchouameni in age and style, though Caicedo has not won the trophies Tchouameni has. Arsenal paid £105 million for Declan Rice from West Ham. Again, a defensive midfielder in his mid-20s. So the market rate for top young defensive midfielders seems to be somewhere between 100 and 115 million euros. In that context, 100 million for Tchouameni is not outrageous. You could even argue it is fair value given his achievements and his quality. Compare Tchouameni's record to Caicedo or Rice. Tchouameni has won the Champions League. He has proven himself at Real Madrid, one of the most demanding clubs in the world. He has played and succeeded at the very highest level. That experience and that winning record are worth something. But of course, spending 100 million euros on one player has massive implications for Manchester United. It affects how much we can spend on other positions. If we pay that much for Tchouameni, can we still afford to strengthen our attack, our defense, or other areas that need improving? These are the tough decisions that club executives have to make. You cannot just sign everyone. You have to prioritize. You have to decide which positions are most important. You have to balance short-term needs with long-term planning. There are also financial fair play considerations. Manchester United cannot just spend unlimited money. We need to stay within the rules. We need to balance our books. We might need to sell some players before we can buy expensive ones. All of this factors into whether we can actually afford Tchouameni. Then there is the wage structure to consider. A player worth 100 million euros will expect top wages. Tchouameni would probably want to be one of the highest paid players at the club. That is fair given his quality and what he would bring. But it sets a precedent. It affects what you pay other players. It needs to be managed carefully. Let us do some rough math. If Tchouameni signs a 5-year contract at, say, £250,000 per week, that is £65 million in total wages over the life of the contract. Add the £85 million transfer fee, and you are looking at a total investment of £150 million over 5 years. Is that worth it? If Tchouameni becomes the foundation of our midfield for the next 6 or 7 years, if he helps us win trophies, if he becomes one of the best players in the Premier League, then yes, absolutely it is worth it. Top players cost top money. That is the reality of modern football. But if he struggles to adapt, if injuries become a problem, if he does not perform at the level we expect, then it becomes a very expensive mistake. There is always risk in big transfers. Even the best players sometimes do not work out at new clubs. We have seen it happen before. Manchester United's job is to minimize that risk. Do thorough scouting. Make sure he fits tactically. Make sure he wants to come here. Make sure he has the right mentality. If they do their homework properly, the risk is much lower. And with Tchouameni, most of the evidence suggests he would succeed. Real Madrid's position. Why would they sell? This is a crucial question. If Tchouameni is so good, if he is only 25 years old, if he has been successful at Real Madrid, why would they even consider selling him? The answer is complicated but comes down to a few key factors. First, Real Madrid have other quality options in midfield. They have Federico Valverde, who is excellent. They have Eduardo Camavinga, another young French midfielder with enormous potential. They have Jude Bellingham, who can play deeper if needed. They still have Luka Modric, even though he is much older now. They have options and depth. When you have that much quality in one position, not everyone can play every game. Not everyone can be happy with their role. Tough decisions need to be made about who stays and who might be sold. Second, Real Madrid are masters of the transfer market. They know when to sell players to maximize value. They sold Casemiro to Manchester United for a big fee when he was 30 years old. They sold Raphael Varane at the right time. They are not sentimental about these decisions. If they believe selling a player makes financial and sporting sense, they will do it. Tchouameni is 25 years old and has proven his quality. His transfer value is probably at its peak right now or close to it. If Real Madrid wait another few years, he will be older and his value will likely decrease. From a pure business perspective, if they are going to sell him, now makes sense. Third, Real Madrid have spent a lot of money recently on their stadium renovation. The Santiago Bernabeu has undergone massive improvements. That costs a lot of money. Selling Tchouameni for 100 million euros would help balance the books. Even for a club as rich as Real Madrid, 100 million euros is significant money. Fourth, Real Madrid might believe they can replace Tchouameni. They might have their eyes on other midfielders. They might believe Eduardo Camavinga is ready to take on a bigger role. They might think they can sign someone else if they let Tchouameni go. Real Madrid have confidence in their ability to find and develop talent. However, there is also risk for Real Madrid in selling Tchouameni. He is a top-quality player in his prime years. If they sell him and cannot adequately replace him, they might regret it. If Camavinga gets injured or does not develop as expected, they might wish they had kept Tchouameni. The relationship between player and club also matters. If Tchouameni is happy at Real Madrid and wants to stay, they are less likely to sell him. But if he is frustrated with his playing time or wants a new challenge, that makes a sale more likely. We do not know exactly how Tchouameni feels about his situation at Madrid. That is information that usually stays private. What we do know is that Real Madrid are not a club that desperately needs money. They are not forced to sell. They will only sell if the offer is right and if they believe it makes sense for them. That puts them in a strong negotiating position. Manchester United cannot just offer 70 or 80 million euros and expect Real Madrid to accept. If United want Tchouameni, they will probably need to pay close to the full asking price of 100 million euros. That is the reality when you are negotiating with a club like Real Madrid. Competition from other clubs. Here is another complication. Manchester United are not the only club interested in Aurelien Tchouameni. When a player of his quality becomes potentially available, every top club in Europe takes notice. We do not have specific reports about which other clubs are interested in Tchouameni right now. But it is safe to assume that clubs like Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City, Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern Munich, and others would at least consider him if he is available. Let us think about some of these clubs and why they might want Tchouameni. Liverpool have had issues in midfield in recent seasons. They have done a lot of work rebuilding that area of the squad. But they are always looking for top talent. Tchouameni would fit their style of play. He has the work rate and the quality they need. If Liverpool were interested, they could offer him Champions League football and a chance to work with Jurgen Klopp or his successor. Arsenal are building an exciting young team under Mikel Arteta. They have been challenging for the Premier League title. They could offer Tchouameni a chance to be part of a project that is really going somewhere. They play attractive football. They have a clear identity. That is appealing to players. Manchester City always seem to be in the mix for top players. They have been the dominant force in English football. They win trophies. They are backed by enormous resources. Pep Guardiola is one of the best managers in the world. City can offer pretty much everything a player could want. If they decided they wanted Tchouameni, they would be serious competition. Paris Saint-Germain might want to bring Tchouameni back to French football. He is French. He played in France before joining Madrid. PSG have the money to compete with anyone. They might see him as a key part of their plans. Bayern Munich are always looking for top talent. They dominate German football and regularly compete in the Champions League. They might see Tchouameni as the perfect addition to their midfield. This competition creates challenges for Manchester United. We need to convince Tchouameni that Old Trafford is the right destination for him. We need to offer him something that other clubs cannot. But what is that? We can offer him the chance to be the main man in midfield. At Manchester City, for example, he might be competing with Rodri, who is one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. At United, he could be the undisputed first choice, the player everything is built around. We can offer him the opportunity to be part of rebuilding one of the biggest clubs in the world. There is something special about helping Manchester United get back to the top. It is a challenge that could really appeal to an ambitious player. We can offer him the chance to play at Old Trafford in front of 75,000 passionate fans every week. We can offer him the chance to be part of the history and tradition of Manchester United. These things still matter to players, even in the modern game. But we need to be honest. Some of these other clubs are in better shape than United right now. They are winning more. They are playing better football. They have more stability. Tchouameni will weigh all these factors when making his decision. This is why Manchester United need to sell the vision. We need to show him our plans for the future. We need to convince him that United are on the way back up. We need to show him that he can be a key part of our return to glory. If we can do that effectively, we have a chance even against strong competition. What this means for United's current midfield. If Manchester United do manage to sign Tchouameni, what does that mean for the midfielders already at the club? Who benefits? Who might find themselves on the outside looking in? Obviously, the biggest impact would be on Casemiro. If Tchouameni arrives, it likely means Casemiro is either leaving or accepting a much reduced role. Given his age and his salary, staying as a backup does not make much sense for anyone. So Tchouameni's arrival would probably mark the end of Casemiro's time at Manchester United. That is sad in some ways. Casemiro has been a good professional. He has contributed to the club. His first season was excellent. But football is a business, and clubs need to make tough decisions. If United believe Tchouameni is a better long-term option, then moving on from Casemiro is the right call, even if it feels harsh. Manuel Ugarte joined Manchester United recently from Paris Saint-Germain. He is a defensive midfielder who was brought in to add quality and depth to that position. If Tchouameni arrives, how does that affect Ugarte? It creates competition, which is healthy. Both players would push each other to perform better. In an ideal world, you would rotate them depending on the opponent and the situation. Some games might suit Tchouameni's style more. Other games might suit Ugarte better. Having options is good when you are competing on multiple fronts. However, both players will want to play regularly. Neither will be happy sitting on the bench week after week. Managing that situation would be a challenge for the manager. But it is the kind of problem successful clubs have. You need competition for places if you want to win trophies. Kobbie Mainoo is one of Manchester United's most exciting young prospects. He broke into the first team this season and has shown real quality. He is only 19 years old and has a very bright future. But if Tchouameni arrives, does that limit Mainoo's opportunities? Not necessarily. Mainoo is more of a box-to-box midfielder than a defensive midfielder. He has different qualities to Tchouameni. They could potentially play together in the same midfield. And even if they compete for the same position sometimes, the competition would help Mainoo develop faster. Training with and learning from a player like Tchouameni would be valuable for Mainoo's development. The key for United is to have depth and quality in every position. You cannot rely on just one or two players in such an important area of the pitch. You need options. You need to be able to rotate. You need to have solutions when injuries or suspensions happen. Other midfielders at the club like Christian Eriksen, Scott McTominay, and others would also face more competition. Some might see their opportunities decrease. Some might even be sold to make room and raise funds. That is the reality of football at top clubs. Not everyone can play every week. But ultimately, signing Tchouameni would raise the overall standard and quality of the squad. It would give the manager more options. It would create healthy competition. It would show everyone at the club that high standards are expected. These are all positive things. The tactical fit with Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim is still relatively new at Manchester United, but he has already started implementing his ideas and his style of play. Any major signing needs to fit with what Amorim wants to do tactically. So how would Tchouameni fit into Amorim's plans? Amorim made his name at Sporting CP in Portugal. He built a team that played attractive, attacking football while being solid defensively. His preferred system is usually a 3-4-3 or a variation of that. 3 centre-backs at the back. Wing-backs who push forward. Midfielders who control the game. Attackers who press and create chances. In this system, the role of the defensive midfielder is crucial. You need someone who can protect the 3 centre-backs. Someone who can cover when the wing-backs push forward. Someone who can control the tempo of the game and start attacks from deep. Someone who is disciplined and smart in their positioning. Tchouameni is perfect for this role. He has the defensive awareness to protect the back line. He has the physical attributes to cover ground and win duels. He has the intelligence to position himself correctly. He has the passing ability to start attacks. Everything about his game suits what Amorim needs from that position. Amorim also likes his teams to be flexible. He wants players who can adapt to different situations within games. Tchouameni's versatility would be very useful here. The fact that he can play as a centre-back if needed gives Amorim tactical options. He could switch to a back 4 during games if required. He could move Tchouameni into different positions depending on the flow of the match. Another thing Amorim values highly is work rate and intensity. He wants players who will run for 90 minutes. Who will press when they need to. Who will track back and defend. Tchouameni has shown at Real Madrid that he has that work rate. He does not take breaks during games. He is always involved, always working. Amorim also likes his teams to dominate possession when possible. That requires midfielders who are comfortable on the ball and who can pass accurately under pressure. Again, Tchouameni fits this requirement. He is good technically and confident in possession. But beyond just tactics, Amorim would also be thinking about leadership and mentality. He would want to know if Tchouameni has the right character. Can he handle pressure? Is he a good teammate? Does he have a winning mentality? Based on everything we know about Tchouameni, the answer to all those questions is yes. He has succeeded at Real Madrid, which is one of the most pressurized environments in football. He has won the Champions League. He is a French international. He has shown he can handle big moments. These are signs of strong character and mentality. If this signing happens, it will be because Amorim believes Tchouameni is exactly what he needs. Managers at top clubs have significant input on transfers. If Amorim did not want Tchouameni, United would not be pursuing him so strongly. The fact that we are suggests Amorim sees him as a key part of his vision for Manchester United. Financial fair play and budget considerations. We have talked about the €100 million price tag for Tchouameni. But we also need to consider the broader financial picture at Manchester United. Can we afford this signing? How does it fit with financial fair play regulations? What does it mean for other potential transfers? Financial fair play, or FFP, is a set of regulations designed to prevent clubs from spending more than they earn. The rules are complex, but essentially clubs need to balance their books over a certain period. You cannot just spend unlimited money even if you have a wealthy owner. Manchester United are a rich club with significant revenues from commercial deals, match-day income, and broadcasting rights. We generate a lot of money, but we also spend a lot. Our wage bill is one of the highest in world football. We have made expensive signings in recent years. All of this affects how much we can spend on new players while staying within FFP rules. If we sign Tchouameni for €100 million, that is a huge chunk of our transfer budget. It might mean we cannot make other big signings in the same window. We would need to prioritize. Is defensive midfield more important than other positions? Do we need to strengthen them more urgently than in attack or defense? These are difficult decisions that need careful planning. You cannot just buy whoever you want without thinking about the overall squad balance and budget. There is also the possibility of player sales. If Manchester United can sell some players we do not need, that raises funds that can be put toward new signings. It also frees up wages that can be used for new arrivals. This is why you often see clubs having to sell before they can buy. Who might United sell to raise funds? That is speculation, but players who are not regular starters and who have decent value in the transfer market could be candidates. The club needs to be smart about this. We cannot just sell our best players to raise money, but moving on players who do not fit the plan makes sense. The wage structure is another important consideration. If we sign Tchouameni and pay him big wages, what does that mean for contract negotiations with other players? If someone like Casemiro sees Tchouameni earning huge money, he might want similar wages when his contract comes up for renewal. Managing all of this requires careful planning. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has talked about wanting to run Manchester United more like a proper business. He wants to control spending. He wants to make smart decisions rather than emotional ones. He wants value for money. Paying €100 million for Tchouameni would need to fit within this vision. The good news is that Tchouameni represents good value in the current market. Yes, €100 million is a lot of money. But for a 25-year-old who is already one of the best in his position, who has won major trophies, and who could be here for 7 or 8 years, it makes financial sense. You are not paying for potential. You are paying for proven quality with room to grow. Compare that to some previous United signings where we paid big money for older players who only gave us a couple of good years before declining. Tchouameni would be a long-term investment that pays dividends over many years. That is the kind of smart spending Ratcliffe wants to see. What Tchouameni would bring to Manchester United. Let us paint a clear picture of what Manchester United would actually look like with Aurelien Tchouameni in the team. What would change? How would we improve? What problems would he solve? First and most obviously, he would solve our defensive midfield problem for years to come. This is a position we have struggled with for a long time. Even with Casemiro, we knew it was only a short-term solution. Tchouameni gives us a long-term answer. He is young enough that we would not need to worry about that position for many years. Second, he would bring defensive stability to our midfield. One of our biggest problems in recent seasons has been getting overrun in midfield. Teams play through us too easily. We get exposed on the counter-attack. Tchouameni would help fix this. His positioning, his defensive awareness, his ability to read danger would make us much harder to play through. Think about the games where we have struggled. Often it is because our midfield gets bypassed. The opposition play one good pass and suddenly they are running at our defense. With Tchouameni sitting in front of the backline, that becomes much harder. He closes passing lanes. He intercepts balls. He makes the right defensive decisions. Suddenly, our whole defensive structure improves. Third, he would give us better ball progression from deep areas. Right now, we sometimes struggle to move the ball from defense into attack smoothly. We rely too much on individual brilliance rather than having a clear, controlled way to build play. Tchouameni would help with this. His passing ability means we could build through midfield more effectively. He can receive the ball from defenders under pressure and find the right pass forward. He can switch play from one side to the other. He can break lines with his passing. This might sound like small details, but these are the things that separate good teams from great teams. The ability to control games and dictate tempo comes from having technically good players in key positions. Fourth, He would bring a winning mentality to the dressing room. We have talked about this already, but it bears repeating. Tchouameni has won the Champions League. He has won La Liga. He knows what it takes to succeed at the highest level. That experience would be invaluable. When you are in a tough game and things are not going well, having players who have been there before makes a difference. They do not panic. They stay calm. They know how to manage difficult moments. Tchouameni would bring that composure and that experience to our squad. Fifth, his physical presence would help us in the Premier League. English football is intense and physical. Teams press high. Challenges are tough. The pace is relentless. You need players who can handle that physicality. Tchouameni can. He is strong, he is powerful, and he does not get pushed around. That matters in the Premier League. Sixth, his versatility gives the manager options. As we mentioned, Tchouameni can play as a centre-back if needed. This tactical flexibility is very useful. It means Amorim could switch formations during games without making substitutions. It means we have cover for multiple positions. It makes squad planning easier. Seventh, signing a player of Tchouameni's quality sends a message to everyone. It tells our current players that the club has ambition. It tells potential future signings that United are serious about building something special. It tells our rivals that we are not going away. These psychological factors matter more than people realize. But let us be realistic. Tchouameni alone would not solve all our problems. We still need to strengthen other areas. We still need to develop a clear playing style and identity. We still need to improve our consistency. One player, no matter how good, is not a magic solution to everything. However, signing Tchouameni would be a major step forward. It would show we are making smart decisions. It would address a key weakness in our squad. It would give us a foundation to build on. And in football, that is often what matters most. Getting the foundations right so you can build something lasting. The timeline. When could this happen? So when might this transfer actually happen? What is the realistic timeline for Tchouameni potentially joining Manchester United? Right now, we are in mid-November 2025, which is during the season. The next transfer window is January 2026, which is the winter window. Traditionally, this window sees fewer big money moves than the summer window. Clubs are often reluctant to sell key players mid-season because it disrupts their squad. However, January deals can happen when all parties are motivated. If Tchouameni wants to leave, if Real Madrid are willing to sell, and if Manchester United are ready to pay, then a January move is possible. But it might be complicated. Real Madrid are likely competing in multiple competitions. They would need time to find a replacement if they sell Tchouameni. They might not want to weaken their squad mid-season. Unless something dramatic happens, a January move seems less likely. The more probable scenario is that this gets done in the summer window of 2026. That gives everyone more time. Real Madrid can plan for his departure. They can identify and sign a replacement. Manchester United can finish the season and properly assess all their needs. Tchouameni can finish the season at Madrid without any distractions. Summer windows also tend to see more activity because clubs have more time to negotiate. There is no rush. You can take your time and structure deals properly. For a transfer of this size and importance, having that time is valuable. What might happen in the meantime is that groundwork gets laid. United and Real Madrid might have preliminary conversations. They might discuss rough terms and figures. They might gauge Tchouameni's interest in the move. Then when the summer window opens, they can move quickly because the basics are already agreed. We might also see more reports and rumors in the coming months. As journalists get information from their sources, stories will come out. Some will be accurate. Some will be speculation. Some will be completely made up. As fans, we need to be patient and not believe everything we read. One factor that could affect the timeline is how both clubs perform this season. If Real Madrid struggle and need to make changes, they might be more willing to sell. If Manchester United finish strongly and show we are building something good, that makes us more attractive to Tchouameni. The next few months could be important in shaping whether this deal happens. Another factor is other potential transfers. If United sign other expensive players in January, that might affect whether we can afford Tchouameni in the summer. If Real Madrid sign a midfielder who can replace Tchouameni, that might make them more willing to sell. There are many moving parts in transfer windows. The bottom line is that patience is required. These big transfers take time. They involve multiple parties with different interests. They require careful negotiation. But if it happens, It will be worth the wait. Getting the right player is more important than getting any player quickly. Learning from past midfield signings. Before Manchester United commit €100 million to signing Tchouameni, it is worth looking at our recent history with midfield signings. What can we learn from the past? What mistakes should we avoid? What did we get right? Let us start with some of the less successful signings. Donny van de Beek joined from Ajax in 2020 for around £35 million. He was a talented midfielder who had done well in the Champions League. But he never established himself at United. He barely played. He spent time on loan. Eventually, he left having made minimal impact. What went wrong? Partly, he did not fit the system. Partly, managers did not trust him. Partly, the competition for places was tough. But mainly, it seemed like a signing made without clear thinking about where he would actually play and what role he would have. That is a lesson. Do not sign players unless you have a clear plan for them. Fred, who we mentioned earlier, had a mixed time at United. He was bought for around £50 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. He had good moments and bad moments. He was never really the controlling midfielder we needed. He was energetic and worked hard, but he lacked the quality to really dominate games. He was a decent squad player but not a game changer. The lesson from Fred is about identifying the right qualities. Energy and work rate are important, but you also need technical quality and intelligence. You need players who can control games, not just run around a lot. Tchouameni has both the work rate and the quality, which is why he is a better option. Paul Pogba's time at United was complicated. We paid a world record fee to bring him back from Juventus. He was incredibly talented, but it never quite worked out the way everyone hoped. He had brilliant moments but also frustrating inconsistency. Eventually, he left on a free transfer. What can we learn from Pogba? Talent alone is not enough. You need players who fit the system and the team. You need consistency. You need players whose strengths match what you need them to do. Pogba was asked to play roles that did not suit him. Tchouameni, by contrast, would be signed for a specific role that matches his strengths perfectly. Now let us look at more successful examples. Bruno Fernandes joined in January 2020 and was an immediate success. He transformed our attack. He created chances. He scored goals. He provided leadership. He was exactly what we needed at exactly the right time. What made Bruno work? He filled a clear need. We desperately needed a creative attacking midfielder. He was in his prime years. He had the right mentality and hunger. He fitted the style of play we wanted. All these factors meant he succeeded from day one. Casemiro's first season, as we have discussed, was also a success. He brought experience and quality to defensive midfield. He helped us become more solid. He showed leadership. He made a real difference. Why did Casemiro work initially? Because we needed exactly what he offered. He was a proven winner. He slotted into a clear role. He had the mentality and experience we lacked. The problem was always going to be his age, which is catching up with him now. But as a short-term signing, he was very good. The lessons from these examples are clear. Sign players for specific roles that match their strengths. Make sure they fill a genuine need in the squad. Target players in their prime years rather than those past their best or too young and unproven. Look for winners with the right mentality. Do proper analysis before signing rather than just buying names. Tchouameni ticks all these boxes. He fills a clear need at defensive midfield. He is 25 years old and in his prime. He has won major trophies. His qualities match exactly what we need from that position. His style suits the Premier League. If we sign him, it would be exactly the kind of smart, well-planned signing that United need to make more of. What Tchouameni's arrival means for United's long-term plans. Beyond just solving our immediate defensive midfield problem, what would signing Tchouameni mean for Manchester United's broader long-term plans? How does he fit into the bigger picture of what we are trying to build? Manchester United are in a period of transition. We are trying to get back to the top of English and European football after some difficult years. That requires building a squad that can sustain success over many years, not just have one good season and then drop off again. To build sustained success, you need a core of top players in their mid-20s who can be the spine of the team for 5 to 7 years. These players need to be good enough to compete at the highest level right now, but also young enough that they have room to improve and many years left at the top. Tchouameni fits this profile perfectly. At 25, if we sign him, we could potentially have him until he is 30 or beyond. That is many years of top-level performance. During that time, he could become one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. He could be the foundation that everything else is built on. Think about successful teams and they usually have a core of players who stay together for years. Manchester City have had players like Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and Rodri for a long time. Liverpool had Henderson, Fabinho, and others for many years. These cores provide stability and consistency. Tchouameni could be part of that core for United. Along with players like Casemiro, who is much younger, we could build a midfield that dominates English football for years. That continuity is so important. You do not want to be constantly replacing key players. You want a stable base that knows each other's games inside out. From a financial perspective, signing younger players in their prime also makes sense long-term. Yes, the initial transfer fee is high, but you get many years of service. Compare that to signing a 30-year-old who might only give you 2 or 3 good years. The cost per year is much better with younger players. Signing Tchouameni would also send a signal about the direction of the club. It would show we are thinking long-term rather than looking for quick fixes. It would show we are willing to invest properly in the right players. It would show we have a clear plan rather than just reacting to immediate problems. This would be important for attracting other top players in the future. Young talents want to join clubs that have a clear vision and direction. They want to be part of projects that are going somewhere. If they see United signing players like Tchouameni and building something properly, they become more likely to join themselves. It would also give the manager a platform to build on. Ruben Amorim needs time to implement his ideas. He needs the right players to make his system work. Having Tchouameni as the defensive midfielder in his system would give him a crucial piece of the puzzle. It would allow him to focus on coaching and developing the team rather than constantly worrying about that position. For the fans, signing Tchouameni would provide hope and excitement about the future. We have endured some tough years. We have seen rivals succeed while we have struggled. We need reasons to believe things are getting better. Big signings like this give us that hope. They show ambition. They show the club is serious about getting back to the top. But again, we need to be realistic. Signing Tchouameni alone does not guarantee success. We still need to strengthen other positions. We still need the right coaching. We still need good team chemistry and luck with injuries. Building a successful team is complicated and requires getting many things right. However, signing Tchouameni would be a major step in the right direction. It would give us a foundation in a crucial position. It would show we are making smart decisions. It would give fans a reason to be excited. And in the long term, it could be looked back on as one of the signings that helped Manchester United return to the top. Comparing Tchouameni to other defensive midfielders. To really understand how good Tchouameni is and whether he is worth €100 million, it helps to compare him to other top defensive midfielders in world football. Where does he rank? What makes him special? Let us start with Rodri at Manchester City. Many consider Rodri the best defensive midfielder in the world right now. He has been absolutely crucial to City's success. He controls games brilliantly. His passing is excellent. His positioning is perfect. He rarely makes mistakes. He is the complete defensive midfielder. How does Tchouameni compare? He is not quite at Rodri's level yet, but he is not far off. Tchouameni is younger, so he has time to reach that level. His physical attributes are arguably better than Rodri's. He is faster and stronger. But Rodri is more refined in his reading of the game and his passing. If Tchouameni continues developing, he could reach Rodri's level in a couple of years. Declan Rice at Arsenal is another interesting comparison. Rice cost Arsenal £105 million last summer. He has been excellent for them. He brings energy, quality, and leadership to their midfield. He can defend and he can drive forward with the ball. Tchouameni versus Rice is an interesting debate. Both are top-class defensive midfielders. Rice is probably better at carrying the ball forward. Tchouameni is probably better positionally and at reading the game. Rice has performed brilliantly in the Premier League. Tchouameni has won the Champions League. They are both excellent but in slightly different ways. Moises Caicedo at Chelsea is another relevant comparison, especially regarding transfer fees. Chelsea paid around €115 million for Caicedo. He has shown good qualities but has not quite lived up to that enormous price tag yet. He is still young and developing. Compared to Caicedo, Tchouameni has achieved more. He has won bigger trophies. He has played at a higher level for longer. He has proven himself at one of the most demanding clubs in the world. If Caicedo was worth €115 million, then Tchouameni at 100 million actually looks like decent value. Looking at other leagues, players like Joshua Kimmich at Bayern Munich or Youssouf Fofana at Monaco are quality defensive midfielders. But neither is at Tchouameni's level in terms of overall quality and achievements. Tchouameni is in that top bracket of defensive midfielders in world football. What makes Tchouameni special compared to others? His combination of attributes. He is physical but also technical. He can defend brilliantly but also pass well. He has experience winning major trophies but is still young with room to improve. He can play multiple positions but excels in his main role. That combination is rare. Some defensive midfielders are great defensively but limited on the ball. Others are good passers but not strong enough defensively. Tchouameni is strong in all areas. He does not have obvious weaknesses. That completeness is what makes him worth big money. In the context of the Premier League specifically, Tchouameni would immediately become one of the best defensive midfielders in the league. Only Rodri would clearly be better. He would be in the conversation with Rice, with Casemiro when he was at his best, with players like Fabinho at his peak. That is elite company. For Manchester United, having one of the best defensive midfielders in the league would be transformative. It is a position where having top quality makes such a difference to the whole team. If we get this signing right, it could be the foundation of our success for years to come. The broader transfer strategy, more than just Tchouameni. While we have focused heavily on Tchouameni in this article, it is important to remember that he would be just one piece of a larger puzzle. Manchester United need to strengthen multiple areas of the squad. How does the Tchouameni pursuit fit into our broader transfer strategy? If we spend €100 million on Tchouameni, that is a huge chunk of our transfer budget. It means we might not be able to make other big money signings in the same window. So we need to think carefully about priorities. Defensive midfield is clearly a priority given the Casemiro situation. But what about other positions? Do we need a new striker? Do we need another winger? Do we need defensive reinforcements? These are all questions the club needs to answer. The smart approach would be to address our most urgent needs first. If defensive midfield is the biggest problem, then spending big money there makes sense. Then in future windows, we can address other areas. Building a top squad does not happen in one transfer window. It takes time and multiple windows of good recruitment. There is also the question of balance between expensive stars and cheaper squad players. You cannot have a squad full of €100 million players. You need some cheaper signings who can provide depth and cover. You need to find gems at lower prices. You need to develop young players from the academy. Manchester United have been guilty in the past of just buying expensive players without a clear strategy. We need to avoid that. Every signing should fit into an overall plan. Tchouameni fits that plan as a long-term solution to defensive midfield. But he needs to be part of a coherent strategy, not just a standalone expensive signing. The club also needs to think about player sales and contract management. Moving on players who do not fit the plan raises funds and reduces the wage bill. Not giving huge contracts to older players preserves financial flexibility. These unglamorous aspects of squad management are just as important as exciting new signings. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has talked about wanting to run the club more efficiently. That means making smart decisions across all areas. It means not wasting money. It means having a clear vision and sticking to it. Signing Tchouameni can be part of that smart strategy if it is done for the right reasons and at the right price. Looking ahead to future transfer windows, if we sign Tchouameni this year, what might our priorities be next year? Perhaps attacking reinforcements. Perhaps defensive depth. Perhaps another creative midfielder to complement Tchouameni. The point is to have a multi-year plan rather than just thinking about one window at a time. This is how the best-run clubs operate. They have 5-year plans. They know what they want their squad to look like in a few years. They make decisions with that end goal in mind. Manchester United need to adopt this kind of long-term thinking if we want sustained success. Tchouameni would be an excellent signing. But he needs to be the start of a smart recruitment strategy, not just a one-off expensive purchase. If we continue making good decisions in future windows, building on the foundation he provides, then we can create a team capable of competing for everything. Fan expectations. What should we realistically hope for? As Manchester United fans, we all want to see our club back at the top. We want to win the Premier League. We want to win the Champions League. We want to dominate English football again. But we also need to be realistic about timelines and expectations. If Manchester United sign Tchouameni, what should we expect from him in his first season? What would constitute success? We should not expect him to single-handedly transform us into champions overnight. Football does not work that way. Even the best players need time to adapt to a new club, a new league, and new teammates. The Premier League is particularly demanding. Players coming from other leagues often need months to fully adjust. Realistic expectations for Tchouameni's first season would be gradual improvement. We should hope to see better defensive stability in midfield. Fewer games where we get overrun. Better control of games. These improvements might not show up in dramatic ways, but they would be important steps forward. We should also expect some adaptation period. There might be games where he makes mistakes or looks uncomfortable. That is normal. Do not panic if everything is not perfect immediately. Judge him over a full season, not based on individual performances in his first few months. Beyond his first season, we should hope that Tchouameni becomes one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. By his second or third season, he should be fully adapted and playing at the highest level consistently. He should be one of the first names on the team sheet. He should be a player that other teams fear facing. We should also hope that his presence helps elevate other players around him. That is what top players do. They make their teammates better. If Tchouameni helps Kobbie Mainoo develop faster, if he makes our defenders look better by protecting them properly, if he allows our attackers more freedom because he provides security behind them, then he is having the impact we need. But we also need to remember that no single player guarantees success. Tchouameni could play brilliantly and we might still have a difficult season if other areas of the team are weak. Or if we have injury problems. Or if managerial decisions do not work out. There are many factors that determine how successful a team is. The key is not to put too much pressure on any one signing. Yes, 100 million euros is a lot of money. Yes, we are hoping he makes a big difference. But he is one part of a larger project. Judge the overall direction of the club rather than obsessing over individual players. As fans, we should also be patient with the broader rebuild. Manchester United have been in decline for years. Getting back to the top takes time. It requires multiple good transfer windows. It requires the right coaching. It requires building team chemistry and developing a clear identity. These things do not happen overnight. If we sign Tchouameni and he is part of a gradual but steady improvement, that is success. If we see positive signs and direction even if we do not win trophies immediately, that is progress. We need to measure success not just in trophies but in whether we are moving in the right direction. That said, we should also maintain high standards. We are Manchester United. We should expect excellence. We should demand that players give their all. We should not accept mediocrity. There is a balance between being patient and maintaining ambition. If Tchouameni comes to United, he will have our support. We should get behind him. We should back him through any difficult moments. We should celebrate his successes. That is what fans do. But we should also keep our expectations realistic and remember that rebuilding a great team takes time. Conclusion. What happens next? We have covered a lot of ground in this complete analysis of the Aurelien Tchouameni transfer situation. We have looked at who he is, why Manchester United want him, the Casemiro situation that created this need, the challenges involved, the financial aspects, and what his arrival would mean for the club. So where does all this leave us? What can we actually expect to happen? The truth is that nobody knows for certain. Transfer negotiations are unpredictable. Things change quickly. A deal that looks certain can fall apart. A transfer that seems impossible can suddenly happen. We just have to wait and see. What we do know is that Manchester United are seriously interested. Real Madrid are potentially willing to sell at the right price. Tchouameni would significantly improve our squad. The finances are substantial but not unreasonable in the current market. Other clubs are also interested, which creates competition. The coming months will be crucial. We will see if Manchester United make a formal bid. We will see how Real Madrid respond. We will see if Tchouameni himself wants this move. We will see if we can agree on a price. All these factors need to align for the deal to happen. For Tchouameni specifically, his situation at Real Madrid will be important. Is he getting enough playing time? Is he happy there? Does he see a long-term future? These personal factors often determine whether transfers happen. For Manchester United, we need to think about our overall transfer strategy. Is defensive midfield our top priority? Can we afford 100 million euros for one player? What does it mean for other potential signings? These decisions will be made by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Ruben Amorim, and others in the leadership. As fans, we need to be patient. Big transfers take time. There will be lots of reports and rumors in the coming weeks and months. Some will be true. Some will be speculation. Some will be completely false. We should not believe everything we read but stay informed through trusted sources like United Daily Updates. What is encouraging is that Manchester United are targeting the right profile of player. Young, talented, proven at the highest level, with a winning mentality. Whether it is Tchouameni or someone else, this is the type of recruitment we need. This shows we are learning from past mistakes and thinking more strategically. The club is in a period of change and hopefully improvement. The decisions made in the next few transfer windows will shape our future for years. If we make smart signings like Tchouameni, if we build a balanced and competitive squad, if we develop a clear identity and style of play, then we can get back to challenging for major trophies. That is what we all want. To see Manchester United competing at the highest level again. To see us win the Premier League and the Champions League. To see the best players in the world wanting to play for us. To feel that pride and excitement that comes from supporting a successful team. Signing Tchouameni would be a significant step toward making that happen. It would solve a key problem. It would bring quality and winning mentality. It would show ambition and smart planning. Whether it actually happens remains to be seen, but the fact that we are trying is positive. Final thoughts. Thank you so much for reading this detailed analysis of the Aurelien Tchouameni transfer situation. I hope it has given you a complete understanding of who he is, why United want him, what challenges exist, and what it would mean for the club if it happens. This is exactly the kind of in-depth coverage you get from United Daily Updates. We do not just give you headlines. We give you proper analysis and context. We help you understand not just what is happening but why it matters. If you are not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do it now. We are your most trusted source for Manchester United news. Every single day, we bring you the latest updates, transfer news, match analysis, and exclusive insights. We have thousands of dedicated United fans in our community, and we would love for you to join us. Make sure to leave a comment below with your thoughts. Would you be happy if we signed Tchouameni? Do you think he is worth €100 million? What other positions should we strengthen? We love hearing from you and having these discussions with fellow United fans. Also, hit that like button if you found this article helpful. Share it with other United fans who might be interested. And turn on notifications so you never miss an update from us. We are here for you every single day with the content you need. The next few months are going to be fascinating for Manchester United. Transfer windows are always exciting, and this one could be particularly important. We will be here covering every development, every rumor, every signing. You can count on United Daily Updates to keep you fully informed. Whether Tchouameni joins or not, one thing is certain. Manchester United are in a crucial period. We are trying to build something special. We are trying to get back to where we belong at the top of football. It will take time. It will require patience. But with smart decisions, good coaching, and the support of fans like you, we will get there. Stay positive. Keep supporting the team. Keep demanding excellence. That is what being a Manchester United fan is all about. We are the biggest club in the world, and we will return to glory. It might not happen overnight, but it will happen. Thank you again for reading. Thank you for being part of the United Daily Updates family. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not already. We appreciate every single one of you. Until next time, keep the faith. Keep believing. Keep supporting Manchester United. Glory, glory, Man United. We will see you in the next update.